And of course, the topic today, the sport of professional wrestling. If you'd like to give us a call in Pennsylvania, 564-0610, New Jersey, 963-0610, and on the Belt Atlantic mobile system, it's a free call by just dialing star 610. And a lot of you complain that it's impossible to get through. Well, right now, we've got 10 open lines. Dial those numbers right now. Pennsylvania, 564-0610, New Jersey, 963-0610, and on the Bell Atlantic mobile system, a free call by just dialing star 610. Just dial those numbers, and Paul will get you right into Rasslin Radio. Well, a lot of things happening in the sport of professional wrestling. For those of you who follow the NWA, of course, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff is now in on the NWA and has signed a 5-day-a-week contract. So you'll be seeing more of Paul Orndorff, and Paul Orndorff will definitely be here at Summer Sizzler 90 next Saturday. No problem with that. He has a signed contract. He will be here. And in a couple minutes, I'll be telling you a little story about what has happened during this past week with Summer Sizzler 90. A very interesting, I'm not even sure that's the right word. Something different has happened, and it involves Tully, Blanchard, and Paul Orndorff, and we'll be talking about that in just a moment. Coastal Crush coming up on June 13th, the next Clash of Champions on TBS, Clash number 11. A couple good matches on that card was announced this week. Junkyard Dog goes up against Ric Flair, and to this day, I still don't understand bringing back Junkyard Dog, but then what do I know? Buddy Landell is also in the NWA. The Iron Sheik has signed on with the NWA again as well. I'm still not sure about that one. As I said, Paul Orndorff is in. Also on that Coastal Crush, the Rock and Roll Express go up against the Midnight Express, and most of you know that, to me, I would go anywhere to watch that match. As many times as it's been done, it's just an excellent match. The Steiners go up against Doom. Tommy Rich will go up against Bam Bam Bigelow. Barry Windham will go up against Doug Furness. Arn Anderson will defend his TV title against Paul Orndorff, and just more about that in a minute. Brian Pillman will go up against Mark Callis. The Southern Boys against the Freebirds in what could be a very good match. And Mike Rotunda and Tom Zenk will go up against the Samoans. And that's Coastal Crush Clash of Champions 11 coming up on June 13th. Also, the NWA announced just the other day the next date here in Philadelphia will be on August 4th. That's a Saturday, I believe, August 4th, for those of you who want to mark your calendars down. A lot of things happening tonight. The NWA is in Baltimore. The main event, Flair versus Junkyard Dog. And every time I see that, it just starts to bother me. But another match that could be very interesting, the Steiners go up against Barry Windham and Arn Anderson tonight. The Rock and Roll Express go after Doom's NWA tag team title. Also, I received a call Thursday night from Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack has decided to leave the NWA, and his last match for the NWA will be on June 10th. He's starting to go on the independent circuit, and called me, want to know if we could use him. Anyway, let me tell you a little bit up to date, bring you up to date as to what's going on here with Summer Sizzler 90. Of course, next Saturday at Temple's McGonigal Hall. Earlier this week, I got a phone call from Tully Blanchard, and Tully will be with me in about 5 minutes here on 610 WIP, hopefully. I got a call from Tully Blanchard, and it was a surprising phone call. Basically, what he had said was that, of course, even though he's no longer in the NWA, and even though he's no longer a tag team partner of Arn Anderson's, they keep in very close contact. And during the week, he had received a phone call through circles from some of his old friends. And make a long story real short, Tully Blanchard demanded from me, as the promoter of Summer Sizzler 90, that I change the main event, and rather than he go up against Dr. Death Steve Williams, that he have the opportunity of going up against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, who was also scheduled to be at Summer Sizzler 90. I kind of pursued it a little bit with Tully to find out why he wanted that, and very simply put, he said, the horsemen stick together. Now, I'm not sure what that means, other than 4 days later, as I found out, on June 13th, Arn Anderson would be defending his TV title against Paul Orndorff, and I kind of questioned Tully Blanchard on that fact. He knew about the World TV title match prior to us knowing about it, and again, I'm not sure the ramifications of this, other than some people in the offices of the NWA have purchased tickets for Summer Sizzler 90, and I'm not sure where this is going to lead. I'm going to pursue that with Tully Blanchard a little bit later in the hour. But the main event at Summer Sizzler 90 next Saturday at Temple University will be Tully Blanchard versus Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, 4 days before Arn Anderson takes on Paul Orndorff for the World TV title. And, of course, if you'd like to order tickets, 745-8315. The tape is on. Please give us a call. All right, we're going to go, as I said, we'll go back to the phones. We're going to talk to you, the fans of Philadelphia. And, of course, Actually, I shouldn't say Philadelphia. I should say Philadelphia, South Jersey, Maryland, Delaware. I ought to be fair to everybody. We'll go to the phones. And Newark, Delaware, we're going to talk to Leon. You're on Rasslin Radio.
Morning, Joe.
Good morning. How you doing?
Pretty good. I have a question. How's Johnny Hotbody doing?
Johnny Hotbody was released. I'm not sure if he had a bail or what the situation was. I know there's a hearing coming up sometime in July regarding the incident that happened at the police station with the TWA several weeks back. He will be available on the Summer Sizzler card coming up here at Temple University. He will be there. And again, I'm not sure what his legal status is. We're going to try to get Johnny on the air in the next couple of weeks, although his attorneys have advised him not to pursue it on the air or talk about it in public.
Okay. And why is it every time something like this happens, it winds up the wrestler's fault, but then again, someone's always jumps in the ring?
Well, see, that's the situation right now. His basic defense is that the police officer didn't belong in the ring and had no business being there. And again, I don't understand the law, and I don't want to get too much into it because the people didn't listen a couple of weeks back. They're really not sure of the incident that occurred. But I will tell you that Johnny's defense attorney basically says that he's clear, and if an officer enters the ring, that he opens himself up to something that happened just like that. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep you on top of it.
Okay.
All right. We thank you for calling.
Bye-bye.
All right. Take care. We go to Roxborough, and Mike, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hey, good morning, Joe.
Good morning. How you doing?
All right. I was just wondering, do you think Paul Orndorff has a future in the NWA, or you think he's just going to end back up in the WWF?
No, he has no intentions going to the WWF. I spoke to him on Wednesday. Very honestly, when he started negotiations with the NWA, he did call me to let me know that whatever negotiations went on, he had an agreement with the office down there that he would appear at Summer Sizzler 90. He spoke to me on Thursday or Wednesday evening, I'm not sure which night, told me that he had signed a contract agreeing with the NWA to appear on a 5-night-a-week basis, which basically means that not only will he be doing television, but he'll also be going out on tour. It is an open-ended contract. There is no, 6 months, year, or there's no limitation on it. He'll stay as long as he's happy. He really had no intentions of going back into the circuit. We had Paul on the air, I guess a couple months back. We also had him in for a luncheon about a year and a half ago, and he had no intentions of getting back in the business on a full-time basis. He's a very successful businessman down in the Atlanta area.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, money talks.
Yeah, I saw him on a bowling show down there.
Yeah, well, he owns that bowling alley.
Yeah.
He owns a number of them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him here next week. I just hope for his sake. I called him up to let him know, of course, that the main event had been changed and Orndorff would be going up against Tully Blanchard. He expressed some concern that he has that match 4 days later on the Coastal Crush, and I'm not sure where this is going to lead, but Paul also asked me for some other phone numbers. He wanted to reach Nikita Koloff and Austin Idol and some of these other people that are on the card. So I'm not sure where this is going, but needless to say, you ought to be down at Temple next Saturday and see where it leads.
All right, I will be.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Yep.
All right, take care. And again, Summer Sizzler 90 next Saturday at Temple University's McGonigal Hall. Tickets available, of course, by dialing 745-8315 or going to Temple or Ticketmaster outlets. All right, we're going to go to Northeast Philadelphia. And Tony, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Good morning, Joe.
All right, how you doing?
Okay. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but they've been doing some promos on the sports channel for the IWA starting this week.
Yeah, it starts
Wednesday night, I think it is.
Right, it starts June 6th. It's going to be on 3 times a week. It's going to be on 9 o'clock, also 12:30, both on Wednesday night, and then sometime on Saturday. My understanding is that Philadelphia's got some baseball on, so you're not going to see the 9 o'clock show, but you'll be able to watch it at 12:30 at night.
Oh, that's good.
All right, those are the tapings that were done in Mount Holly several weeks back. You'll see all Squared Circle fan club members all ringside since we basically own the ringside. And a little bit later in the hour, you'll hear a commercial spot. The next TV tapings are in Nanticoke, Pennsylvania, and they're doing 4 more weeks on June 23rd.
Okay, also, NWA. How does Junkyard Dog warrant coming in and getting this title shot?
I don't know. I think back. See, the NWA has history doing that. If you remember when Ricky Steamboat first came in, he got a title shot within 13 minutes.
Right.
I don't understand it. I can't understand it. I'll be down in Baltimore tonight. I keep in touch with the dog, and he's excited about what's come up. He's bigger than he's ever been. I don't understand it. You look at the town in the NWA. You realize if Barry Windham comes in, he don't get a title shot. Arn Anderson came in, he doesn't get a title shot. You look at Paul Orndorff. I mean, I think Paul Orndorff, if anyone owns or has a right to a title shot coming in day one, I would think Orndorff would be a better qualified candidate than the Junkyard Dog. I don't understand it.
Yeah, it just doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense to me.
Also, with the NWA, what is the stuff with the Rock and Roll Express? What's this hand signal stuff? Is there some? They've been doing a lot of like sign language.
Well, hey, they've been communicating in the ring for years and years and years. The sign language is
not with each other.
Well,
interviews and things.
Okay, well, they're doing it. They have look. They changed their outfits. They're now doing some sign language. I am thoroughly convinced that what we see today is nothing compared to what was 2 years ago, and I don't understand it.
Yeah. Okay.
Simple answer. I just flat out don't understand it. Hey, thanks for calling.
Okay, thanks.
Take care. And you're listening to Rasslin Radio here on 610 WIP.
610 WIP. Sunny days, laughter nights, mountain tops, ancient signs. Oh yeah, there's something special in the air.
Now, American Airlines can take you to the rest of the Americas. Because on July 1st, we begin service to 20 of Latin America's most popular destinations in 15 countries. Let the airline that brings you quality service in the air and on the ground bring this exciting part of the world closer to you. American Airlines.
There's something special in the air.
Beginning July 1st, American Airlines will fly to Rio de Janeiro and Sao Paulo, Brazil, Buenos Aires, Argentina, and Santiago, Chile. This is in addition to our service to Guatemala City, Guatemala, San Jose, Costa Rica, and Caracas, Venezuela. So contact your travel agent or American Airlines today.
Tennessee Tour 90 is coming now. We are leaving Friday, July 13th and coming back on the 17th. Make your reservations now for Tennessee Tour 90, the biggest and best trip that we have every year. Make your reservations now by dialing 745-8315 for Tennessee Tour 90, July 13th through 17th. Be there for the time of your life. It's time. The Squared Circle is celebrating its 5th anniversary, and on Saturday night, June 9th, we will celebrate at Market Street Live, the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar, 8th and Market Street. We will celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Squared Circle, and the general public is invited. A hot dinner buffet and a lot of special guests. Our 5th anniversary. It's been 5 years for the Squared Circle, and we will celebrate Saturday, June 9th, starting at 5:30 p.m. at the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar, Market Street Live, 8th and Market Street, Center City, Philadelphia. Make your reservations now. The general public is welcome as the Squared Circle. You, the wrestling fans of the area, the Squared Circle celebrates the 5th anniversary. Be there. Attention fundraisers. The Tri-State Wrestling Alliance can help you raise lots of dough. Just dial 745-8315. The young and up-and-coming stars of the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance can help you raise the money you need. 745-8315. For the best in wrestling fundraising, the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance, 745-8315. We're back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. We'll go right back to the phones, and on our conference line is someone from Variety Club, Todd Gordon. And Todd, welcome to Rasslin Radio.
Good morning, Dr. Goodhart.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I got to tell you, the ticket demand is unbelievable. I'm sold out already. I need more tickets to the store to sell.
Well, that sounds good to me. I'm going to talk a little bit about tickets and probably the second half of the hour. But this whole thing with Tully, Blanchard, and Orndorff's got me a little concerned.
Well, I'm going to need some more tickets, I can tell you that. I have to ask you a question,
Yeah.
Paul. After your last card, how much was the damage control? You must have gone through 5 tables, 8 chairs. I don't know. You had things getting burned. You had fire getting thrown. I never saw a card like that in my life.
Well, I'll tell you, when you look back and you watch the videotape and you see Jerry Lawler throw the fire at Curry Von Erich, and you see the 6-man brawl that occurred after the Drake Winters match, and you're right. I'm not sure what the final damage was. I know we had 1 busted microphone, 4 chairs, 2 tables. Needless to say, we even had some of the fans get involved in the melee. In addition to that, some violence. I mean, Christ, you look at DC Drake, Larry Winters went up to the press box 3 stories above the floor. It's tough, but I've said on the air here for 5 years that people forget that pro wrestling is a violent sport, and they're so used to watching the diluted that the product that they're getting on television, it's so far diluted from what wrestling really is supposed to be that when they see something that happens like what happened in Spring Spectacular, they're surprised.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. After maybe 25 years of following this sport, it may have been the best card I ever witnessed.
Well, I'm happy that you said it. I've seen great cards, and I will rank Spring Spectacular up there. Again, I'm more concerned with Summer Sizzle right now, obviously, and with Tully Blanchard against Orndorff, and Orndorff demanding for me that Blanchard be his opponent, or Blanchard demanding that Orndorff be his opponent. It concerns me. All I need is for Orndorff to get injured here in Philadelphia and not be able to make the June 13th clash, and then I'm going to have the whole world coming down on me.
Sounds to me like you better bolt down the chairs and bolt down the table because all hell's going to break loose.
Well, hopefully. Hopefully.
Have a great show. Variety Club and I thank you, and we look forward to seeing you next Saturday. And if anybody's a wrestling fan out there listening, they missed this one, they're crazy.
Thank you, Todd.
Take care.
All right, take care.
Bye.
All right, we go to Lindenwold and Ben. You're on Rasslin Radio.
Morning, Joel. How you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Okay. Couple.
Whoop, something happened. We lost Ben. All right, how about if we go to Logan? Sean, you're on Rasslin Radio.
How you doing, Jeff?
All right, how you doing?
I just want to ask, do you think Tully Blanchard will make a special appearance at the next class?
Well, again, I'm not sure what's going on here. If you read between the lines, I see Tully Blanchard possibly trying to get back into the Horsemen and in theory trying to injure Paul Orndorff, and if that's the case, keeping him from the clash and maybe getting Arn to bring Tully back into the NWA. I mean, that's certainly a possibility. We'll be talking to Tully Blanchard in a minute or so. Paul's going to try to reach him now on the conference line. Again, I'm not sure where this is leading. I think that when I received the phone call from Tully Blanchard demanding the title, or not the title, but the match be changed and Orndorff be his opponent, I certainly, said, hey, that's not going to be a problem. Let's see what we can do. And, hey, I'm not sure where this is going to lead. I don't know if Tully will be at the Clash, although I suspect that's not the case. But needless to say, Tully wants Orndorff, and there's you start reading between the lines, there's something there.
You think they'll kick their vicious up?
Pardon me?
You think they'll kick their vicious up?
I don't know. If Tully, I've said all along, Tully makes the Horsemen. I'm going to stand by that. All the four Horsemen the NWA comes up with, it does not compete with the Horsemen when Tully Blanchard was in there. If Tully comes back and Sid Vicious is out, hey, I think the Horsemen would be better for it. Thanks for calling.
All right.
Take care. All right, we got Ben back. All right, Ben, how you doing?
Okay, Joel.
All right, Paul.
I was curious. Where does this leave? I guess does Dr. Death end up going to wrestle Ace Orton, or is that?
Well, no. What's going to happen is what we're going to do. We've got Magnificent Morocco. That's what I was going to come up with a couple minutes later. Magnificent Morocco is going to be taking on Cowboy Bob Orton. Dr. Death Steve Williams got bumped from the card when Tully made this demand. So what we've got, because to put Dr. Death against Bob Orton doesn't mean anything, so we're going to bring in Magnificent Morocco against Orton, and Blanchard will go up against Austin Idol.
Oh, that's great.
Blanchard will go up against Paul Orndorff.
Okay, and you said the Warriors are in WWF now?
The Road Warriors have signed with the WWF. That was my lead story last week.
Yeah.
And talking to Animal at the Civic Center on Sunday, he told me that they're planning to do a TV shoot for them sometime in June. In addition, their first live appearance on a WWF card is tentatively scheduled for SummerSlam, which, of course, will happen here at the Spectrum August 27th.
Hey, looking forward to being there next.
All right. Thank you. Take care. All right. We finally got him on the line. Thanks, Paul. With me now on the line, the man that I call the fourth horseman, Tully Blanchard. And Tully, welcome to Rasslin Radio.
Good morning, Joel.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right. Well, before we got you on the air, I kind of brought everyone listening up to date on what happened this past week. And basically told them the story about when you called me up during the week and demanded a match with Paul Orndorff here in Philadelphia, since Paul was going to be on the card. And it was interesting in our conversation how you mentioned that Arn Anderson, even though you're no longer together, was a very close friend of yours. And with Arn having to defend his TV title against Paul Orndorff 4 days later, you wanted the opportunity of taking on Orndorff yourself.
Well, Arn and I are still friends, and if I can do a little bit to help him, I'm certainly going to do it.
That's the thing that's got me bothered. When you say you're going to help out Arn, when I spoke to Paul Orndorff and told him about the change in the match, he expressed a concern that maybe there's some conspiracy here on your part with Arn to get him out of wrestling, or the possibility that maybe you're going to be out to injure Paul Orndorff here in Philadelphia so that he doesn't get that title shot on the 13th.
Well, anything can happen when you get inside the ring.
That's keeping it simple. Oh my lordy! See, when I started hearing that, just to bring you up to date, and then we'll go to a couple callers. Maybe some callers have some questions for Tully Blanchard. One of the things that I've said on the air here since the Horsemen disbanded several years back, and then even when you went to the WWF, and even when Arn came back, I am convinced, and you know this because I've said this to you publicly as well as privately, the Horsemen are not the Horsemen without Tully Blanchard. And even the Horsemen of today with Sid Vicious and Barry Windham, Arn Anderson, and Flair just missing something without Tully Blanchard. Do you have any intentions of going back to the NWA?
No.
Boy, I can never get him to bend on that at all. I'll tell you what, I keep trying. We tried in December at our luncheon. What we're going to do, let's go to the phones, and maybe some people have some questions for Tully Blanchard. I'm going to keep Tully here for a couple of minutes. Of course, Tully in the main event here at the Summer Sizzler 90, Saturday, June 9th at Temple University's McGonigal Hall. How about if we go to Rick on line 7? You're on Rasslin Radio.
Hey, Joe, how's it going?
All right, how you doing?
Pretty good. Tully Blanchard, how are you?
Doing great.
Okay, I have a question for you. Do you miss the NWA in a way?
If I missed it, I'd be there.
Oh, that's right. I figured that you're the you are the Horseman, and of course I watched you a lot, and you put this certain kind of spark on the Horseman that I feel that everybody likes, and of course if the NWA was to get better, just you would have been back on the Four Horsemen, it would be great.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot. Hey, Joe, I have a question for you about SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened with Hogan last week with Earthquake? Is that a match?
Well,
for a match?
I'm willing to bet you. All right, I'm willing to bet you that one of the main events at SummerSlam will certainly be Hogan versus Earthquake. I'm sure Hogan is going to be injured or whatever they're going to do. He'll disappear for a while, come back. I'm willing to bet you'll probably have the Ultimate Warrior against Rick Rude in the main event, and the semi-main event will probably be Hogan against Earthquake.
Okay, is there a possibility of Tugboat might be in Hogan's corner?
Wouldn't surprise me in the least.
Okay.
All right, we thank you for calling.
All right, take care.
All right, take care. And we go to Frank. You're on Rasslin Radio.
How you doing, Joe?
All right, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Tully?
Doing great.
I had two questions, one for Tully and one with another situation. Seems like the last couple of weeks I've been turning on this June show in Cooper River.
Yeah.
It seems like everybody on that show is starting to get signed with the NWA. Are they still going to appear at that show?
All right, the June 23rd Rumble in the River, Stan Hansen is still going to be there. My understanding is that Kamala has backed out. However, they are currently negotiating with Jerry Lawler to go up against Stan Hansen, so that is certainly not finalized. Interestingly enough, if you look at the independent cards, be it the WWA in South Jersey that's having the Rumble in the River, or even my TWA or whatever, the major organizations are going into the independents to get their talent. Paul Orndorff just signed a contract. Junkyard Dog has been on the independent circuit, has just signed a contract.
Right, he's also on that show. That was the other one.
Okay, well, if Junkyard Dog was scheduled on that card, then he won't be there.
He won't?
No. The Junkyard Dog has signed a full-time contract with the NWA. In fact, we have Dennis Carluzzo, I think, scheduled on the radio show either next week. Yeah, I believe it's next week that we'll bring everyone up to date as to what the card will be at Rumble in the River, because they're still working on changing it around. But I've said on this show for 5 years, and I think Tully would even be able to support this, the independent cards are where the action is, and when the major wrestling organizations need to acquire new talent, in effect, that's where they go for the talent. And, if you just look at the independent cards in this area, 2, 3, 4 months down the line, some of these talents wind up in the major organizations, and that's where they go. They come to the independent cards, and as I said, Jim Hurd and a number of his people from the office in the NWA have purchased tickets for the Philly Summer Sizzler. So, maybe they're coming to check out new talent.
Right. Now for Tully, when you left the WWF, was there a reason, or you just wanted to take vacation that you didn't go to the NWA with Arn? Or?
That was a long, involved bunch of contract dispute is why I didn't go back to the NWA. But now it's too late.
Right. So are you just going to continue wrestling independently, or?
Actually, as soon as I get me a real job, I'm going to quit that too.
Are you kind of fed up with it, or with wrestling, or?
Oh, it's just time to move on for the rest of my life, I think.
Are you going to stay contact anyway, promoting or anything, or?
I don't have any idea what I'm going to do, really.
Thanks a lot.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Have a good one.
All right, take care. Northeast Philadelphia, and Dave, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Yeah, like to talk to Tully?
Go ahead.
Tully,
Yellow.
how you doing?
Doing great.
Great. Why do you want to come back to the NWA? I mean, what's your reason?
Why don't I?
Yeah, why? Yeah. Why would you want to fight Mr. Wonderful and not give Arn a shot at it?
Arn's going to wrestle him.
He is. I thought you were going to wrestle.
Well, I'm wrestling him at Temple University, then Arn's going to wrestle him over at the Civic Center.
Yeah, but why? I mean, why would you want to fight Mr. Wonderful? Do you have a reason?
Why would he? Because he's got to defend his title, doesn't he?
Yeah. All right.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. South Philadelphia and Chuck, you're on Wrestling Radio.
Hey, how you doing, Joe?
All right.
Okay, I got a question for Tully.
Good morning.
How you doing, Tully?
Doing great.
I miss you in the NWA, big guy.
Well, thank you.
My question is, it's going to sound a little weird, but have you ever in your wrestling career wrestled Ric Flair?
I've wrestled Ric Flair when I first started wrestling back in '77 2 or 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was the outcome of that?
Well, I got beat up.
Simple answer.
Okay, Joel.
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you one thing. I was at that Spring Spectacular, and believe me, that was spectacular.
Well, thank you very much, and hopefully you'll be at Summer Sizzler.
Oh, I'll be there next week. No doubt about that.
Appreciate
Thank you for bringing back Morocco, too.
Hey, no problem. Yeah, we're
Amen.
on the Magnificent Morocco against Cowboy Bob Orton.
You got it, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Catch you next week.
All right, take care. All right, Tully, I do want to thank you for taking a couple minutes out of your schedule. I know you want to go do your 6-mile run or whatever it is. Next Saturday, June 9, Temple's McGonigal Hall, 1 p.m., the main event, Tully Blanchard, who demanded a shot at Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And Tully, thanks for calling in.
It's my pleasure.
Tully, I'll see you later.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, there's the fourth horseman. I don't care what he says. He belongs in the NWA he ought to stay with the TWA until he goes into the NWA. All right, you're listening to Rasslin Radio here on 610 WIP. Again, our phone numbers in Pennsylvania, we've got some open lines, 564-0610, New Jersey 963-0610, and on the Bell Atlantic mobile system, it's a free call by just dialing star 610. Give us a call during this commercial break. We'll bring you on right after the commercial. And, I'm in trouble. You know, Orndorff against Blanchard, I'm in trouble. We'll be right back.
Why, pay retail? We got the car you want at the price you want to pay. We got the inside information on buying a better way. How low do you want to go? You'll never pay more at a permanent sales shop. Why, pay retail?
Why pay retail when you can get the lowest prices in the Delaware Valley at Dell Chevrolet and Norristown Ford? Dell Chevrolet will put you in an '89 Corsica loaded for $75.99. Dell has 10 to choose from. Norristown Ford will sell you an '89 Escort also loaded for $68.99, and you have 7 to choose from. Dell Chevrolet, 1644 Lancaster Avenue in Paoli, and Norristown Ford, Rich Pike and Trooper Road, Norristown. Dell Chevrolet and Norristown Ford.
Ringmasters Wrestling School is now here in Philadelphia. 745-8315 to find out when the next session of tryouts are. If you want to get in the sport of professional wrestling, if you want to be the best, then you have to learn at the best. Ringmasters Wrestling School. Make sure you write down the number 745-8315 to be a professional wrestler. Learn it at the Ringmasters Wrestling School. 745-8315. Our busy month of video bus trips continues on Saturday, June 23rd, as our video bus goes to Nanticoke, Pennsylvania, for the TV tapings of the IWA. That's the same group that taped in Mount Holly several weeks back, now being seen live on Sports Channel America. Be there ringside in Nanticoke, Pennsylvania, for the TV tapings of the IWA. For reservations for our video bus, 745-8315 for the IWA TV tapings in Nanticoke, Pennsylvania. Our video bus trips continue on Friday evening, July 20th, as we head to Salisbury, Maryland, for the LPWA TV tapings. That's right, the Ladies Professional Wrestling Association tapings in Salisbury, Maryland, and the Squirt Circle will be there ringside. Make your reservations now by dialing 745-831-5555 8315 on Friday, July 20th, as we head to Salisbury, Maryland for the Ladies Professional Wrestling Association. We're back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. Again, the phone numbers in Pennsylvania, 564-0610, New Jersey, 963-0610, and on the Bell Atlantic mobile system, a free call by just dialing star 610. How about if we start out in Collegeville? And Andy, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a couple questions for you. Number one, do you support what the Horsemen are doing? I think they're saving the belt for Sting.
The Horsemen are saving the belt for Sting?
Well, the NWA in general.
You're not going to get any argument from me on that one. I think that, again, the Horsemen, as you see it, Barry Windham now coming into the NWA, I'll stand by what I've said on the air many times, that he's one of the top wrestlers in the world when he can wrestle, when he's allowed to wrestle. Arn Anderson, the Enforcer, is now back. I still think the weak link is Sid Vicious, but as long as the Horsemen are around, it's very difficult for someone to defeat them. And here, even in a case on Capital Combat, the Horsemen were able to figure out a way to get in the cage and make certain that Flair kept the belt.
Well, can't they? I think they should ban him from ringside or something, or ban them from the building.
Well, I think I said this on the radio last week. I think the only way to prevent the Horsemen from interfering in a match and saving a title for Arn Anderson or for Ric Flair is to simply now use a disqualification as a means for changing a belt. That being the case, if they were, disqualified for outside interference, then of course the belt would change hands, and that would be the only way to do it. World-class people tried that. The fans didn't seem to like it, but I think that would be the only way to prevent the Horsemen from interfering.
And the Road Warriors leaving, I don't think that's stupid. I mean, they can't survive in the WWF.
Well, they weren't doing anything in the NWA for 2 years. They haven't done a damn thing, and I think from a business standpoint, again, you have to look at it that way. I think it's a good business move for them. I think they needed some new environment. And you sound a little young. You may not remember when wrestling was very territorial, where people didn't stay in an organization for more than maybe 3 to 6 months. I think it's a positive move when people start moving around because they attract new fans and start facing some new people. And even though the NWA is letting them go and the Road Warriors are jumping to the WWF, their first opponents will probably be Demolition. I think that
they'll get a title shot immediately.
Yeah, Flair can give a title shot to the dog. I guess the Road Warriors ought to be able to get a title shot over there. All right?
All right,
Thank you for calling.
Yep,
all right, take care. And with us now on 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio, CN Red. How you doing?
Good morning, Mr. Goodhart.
How you doing?
I'm alive.
Well, that's a negative.
I always like trying to start out my day with a heartbeat.
All right, I understand. Summer Sizzler 90 next Saturday at Temple University, and you're involved in what many people think is the main event, a 6-man elimination.
What do you mean many people think?
Well, you're on the same card as someone like
the main event.
It is the main event.
The main event. If they want to see Lawler, they can turn on their little cable shows, and they can see that anywhere they want. If they want to see Austin Idol, they can do the same. But if they want to see C and Red, then they have to be there live and in color.
Okay. In the 6-man tag, pins count anywhere in the building. In your young careers, as we've been kind of following your career as it's building up, you're in the 6-man tag with 2 other partners of yours, Johnny Hotbody and DC Drake, and you're going up against Larry Winters, Tony Stetson, and the Rockin' Rebel. And I would think that kind of match with pins counting anywhere in the building, anything could happen.
Anything can happen. I mean, like last time you saw that little pay-to-pay that we had down there, and everybody saw that a lot of chairs and tables were thrown all over the place. So I'm pretty sure that they can expect that again when I get in the ring, because I got 3 little things to say there, Joel.
Yeah.
Number 1, Hitman Stetson, listen, big guy, I got no beef with you, so you just stay out of my way. Number 2, Winters. Same thing, buddy. Hey, man, and I'm not going to lie to a lot of people out there. A lot of people know that I used to be connected with Winters. But, hey, when we're in the ring, it's a war. And if I have no choice but to take off his arms and hurl them, then it looks like I'm going to have to do that. Third of all, Rock. Rockin' Rebel. Big and bad guy. Hey, buddy, listen. If the only reason you joined professional wrestling was to make a lot of money by getting your butt kicked, sir, you're going to be a very rich man.
Seeing red in the main event, a 6-man elimination tag, Summer Sizzler 90 next Saturday, McGonigal Hall. Pins count anywhere in the building. And how do you plan for a match like that? I mean, obviously the ring is not going to hold the 6 of you. Pins can count anywhere in the building. You got to have something up your sleeve.
Oh, I got many more things up my sleeve. Me and Mr. Hotbody and Mr. Drake have been in discussion and meetings for about the last 3 weeks, and we have decided on our ultimate plan, which will. It really isn't that secret at all, Mr. Goodhart. You get rid of them one at a time. You don't have to go in and destroy everything and pretend you're God's gift, although we are. We can just go in and just take them on one at a time, and we can come out as all winners.
Again, Summer Sizzler 90, Temples, McGonigal Hall next Saturday, 1 o'clock. 6-man elimination tag, pins count anywhere in the building. DC Drake, Johnny Hotbody, and Seeing Red go up against Larry Winters, Tony Stetson, and the Rockin' Rebel. And Seeing Red, we thank you for calling.
Pleasure's yours, Joel.
Take care.
Bye.
All right. Boy, I got him and Tully. Bad guy day today. All right, how about if we go back to the telephones here on 610 WIP? We'll go to Norristown. And Carmen, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Morning, Joe. How you doing?
All right, how you doing?
All right, good. Couple quick things about this last pay-per-view in the NWA. Do you know anything about this guy, Alagante?
Yeah, we talked about him a number of times.
Who is he?
7'6", 425 pounds. He was drafted by the Atlanta Hawks. I believe he's from Peru, but don't hold me to that. He's from some South American country. They drafted him in the 3rd round because of his size. They brought him up. Obviously, he can't move that quickly because of his size. They cut him, but Ted Turner owns the Atlanta Hawks. There's a 3-year personal services contract. They immediately hired Hiro Matsuda to train El Gigante, and that's exactly what he's doing now. He's training to be a wrestler, although I don't know if he's going to be able to wrestle. But he's certainly bigger than Andre the Giant, and supposedly, although I haven't seen it, more agile than Andre was when he was younger.
Wow. And another quick thing. Think there's any chance that Arn Anderson may make a special appearance next week?
Well, I'm not going to sit here and say yeah, because I would doubt it, but I think anything is possible. I just think in reading between the lines, Arn has called Tully and basically said flat out, destroy Orndorff so he doesn't get there on the 13th. I don't think Arn Anderson's going to show up, although, again, all I can tell you is, the NWA has purchased 4 tickets at Summer Sizzler 90. They were purchased through Alan Raskin from Pro Wrestling Review, which is a local newsletter. Alan does sell tickets through his newsletter. We've got the check to prove that Hurd bought them, so there are 4 tickets purchased by the NWA, and whether Arn Anderson is in one of those seats or not, I don't know, although very honestly, I would doubt it.
You think so? Okay, thanks, Joel.
All right, we thank you for calling.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, take care. Can you believe Arn Anderson? No, I don't even want to think about it. All right, Wayne and Bob, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hi, Joe.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I wanted to talk about the NWA last week at the Civic Center.
Yeah.
All right, the show for James was pretty decent. I liked the last show there.
Well, it was a decent card. I got some major problems with some of the no-shows.
Yeah, me too.
But interesting enough, Memorial Day weekend, they always seem to want to run. They only had, about 2,000 people there.
Yeah.
But it was nice to see Dutch Mantell and the Southern Boys see some new talent come into the area.
Yeah. I also forgot to list the matches a few minutes ago. And I was looking over how many no-shows there were, plus how many matches would change and stuff.
Right.
Remember, Cactus Strap was supposed to go up in Norman, Lucas Flair. Everyone's doing the stuff he was supposed to have, but they decided to switch it for whatever reason.
Well, again, Kevin Sullivan is out with a broken hand. Eddie Gilbert is out with a rotator cuff injury in his shoulder. Lex Luger obviously had arthroscopic surgery done on his knee, so he's out. So those 3 are explainable. Why Sting and why Sid Vicious were not there are unexplainable.
You know, that's the problem I have with the NWA. They always seem to have more no-shows and stuff than the WWF or any other.
Yeah, but but interesting enough, with all the no-shows there, I still stack up the card you saw there last Sunday against a lot of the cards you'll see in Philly.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's still a great card. I remember the last card here in April was pretty live there, Tim.
You got it. Hey, we thank you for calling.
Hey, see you later.
All right, take care. And we go to Florence. I guess that's Florence, New Jersey. Rob, you're on Rasslin Radio.
How you doing?
All right, how you doing?
All right, I just want to say I think the WWF is the best federation, and I don't understand why you're always putting it down.
Because my opinion is it's the worst. That's what WWF stands for, Worst Wrestling Federation.
Considering the fact that Hogan and the Warrior probably was the best match so far of the year with the NWA, always putting out matches that don't end, allowing all these jump-ins, and it gets pretty redundant. They keep doing the same thing.
Well,
and you get bored.
Again, I can't argue that point. I think, when you realize, since publicly the WWF has said that everything they do is fake, when you realize that the Hogan Warrior match was totally fake, then suddenly you'll realize maybe what I'm saying. All right, that was not a wrestling match. They come out and tell you it's not a wrestling match. There's no competition. It's all pre-scripted and predetermined. They've told you that a million times. They told your state athletic commission. You live in Jersey. They appeared in front of your state athletic commission and said that their product is 100% fake, and you're stupid enough to keep watching it and thinking you're seeing something real. Thanks for calling. Wissahickon and Joe, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
All right, how you doing? That Rob from Florence thinks he's watching wrestling.
Yeah, that's all fake, that stuff.
Well, they come out and admit it, and he still buys it. I
like how Hulk Hogan's getting all his title shots against the Ultimate Warrior.
He didn't get any.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
No, whatever. What's going on?
All the Hulkamaniacs must be pretty upset, huh?
Well, I'll tell you, the houses all over wrestling are down. We're going to talk about that in the last 10 minutes.
Hey, Joe,
yeah.
I got a question for you. What do you think Howard Stern is a wrestler?
Howard who?
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern is a wrestler?
Yeah. The morning personality.
Never would cut it.
Yeah, well, he's got a big enough mouth and a big enough nose. So.
All right, we thank you for calling.
All right, Joe.
Boy, I'll tell you, we're getting the callers today. All right, with me now on the conference line, how about if we put them right on? One of our new additions to Summer Sizzler 90 here at Temple University, Saturday, June 9th, next Saturday, the magnificent Morocco. How you doing?
Morning, Joel.
All right, how's everything going?
Oh, real fine.
Well, I got you coming in, going up against Cowboy Bob Orton, which should be a very interesting match.
Yeah, he's always good, full of surprises.
Well, I'll tell you, this past week we had some interesting things happen with Summer Sizzler. Tully Blanchard will be on the card going up against Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. And just kind of bring you up to date on some of the other matches on the card. The King, Jerry Lawler, in a Memphis street fight goes up against Austin Idol. A Russian chain match, Nikita Koloff versus Manny Fernandez. The American Brass Knucks title will be on the line. Dr. Tom Pritchard will be in the area defending it against the Cheetah Kid. Also, we have a six-man tag that we spoke about several minutes ago, and your match against Cowboy Bob Orton. And I got to tell you, I'm not really sure which of these matches is the main event. Yours could be a main event. Lawler's, Koloff's, Pritchard's, Blanchard's, a six-man tag, all of them equal in stature.
That sure sounds like a card that could go anywhere in the world.
Well, I'll tell you, we videotaped our last card, and we received offers from Japan and even one order from Canada. Spring Spectacular was certainly successful. My hope is that Summer Sizzler 90 is as successful, if not bigger. And I know the addition of you on the card against Cowboy Bob Orton certainly can't do anything but help ticket sales.
Yeah, well, I've tagged with Bob a few times before, so, and he's always got something going. So he's a rugged guy. He's tough, and it's going to be some seeing Orndorff again, and Austin Idol, and Tom Pritchard, and all these guys have been around for quite a while, and they've all, reputable names.
Sure. Well, I'm looking forward to you coming into the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance. Again, that'll be next Saturday, June 9th at Temple's McGonigal Hall, 1 p.m. And Magnificent, we thank you for calling in.
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. All right, that's the Magnificent Morocco, one of the new headliners on Summer Sizzler 90, Saturday, June 9th, Temple McGonigal Hall. Again, tickets are available through Ticketmaster outlets, of course, calling the Temple box office or just dialing 745-8315. And how about if we go to Holland and Pat, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hi, Joe. How you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Okay. My first question is, I was wondering, whatever happened to Missing Link?
He's missing.
He's missing.
Missing Link is basically retired. The last time, in fact, Larry Winters had spoken to him several months back. The Missing Link is living in Texas in a trailer park and basically out of the sport.
Oh, okay.
And now that I said that, he'll wind up in the NWA in 2 days.
Right. And my second question is, I heard these rumors going around that the Ultimate Warrior died, the original one, and that he overdosed.
It's absolutely incredible to me. First of all, you couldn't duplicate that body if you tried. All right, that's number one. Number two, the man gets a new haircut, and everybody thinks the original one died, which tells me something about the mentality of people who follow the Ultimate Warrior. Anyway, no, he did not die. We killed that rumor. That rumor has kind of gone cycles. He is not dead. He's alive and well, and obviously champion.
Okay. Because I just, it's kind of, if you watch him, he's not nearly as wild as he was before.
That's because he's a champion now. Now he's got to do what Vince tells him to do.
Right.
All right?
Okay.
Hey, we thank you for calling. All right, take care. And we'll take one more call before a break here. We'll go to Mount Airy. And Brian, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hello.
Hello.
2 questions and a couple comments.
Sure.
First question.
Where is Bruno Sammartino and his son David?
Where the heck have you been? Bruno and David were both here in Philadelphia in January at our Winter Challenge 90 card. Bruno is retired but makes appearances all over the place. In fact, we'll be having Bruno coming back this summer. David lives in Atlanta. He's a bodybuilder now. And how come he didn't come out to Winter Challenge and see him at Temple?
Well, at the time, I was a little incapacitated, you might say.
Okay, I'll do it.
And when is Ric Flair going to finally give up the title? I am sick of seeing Ric Flair as champion.
Well, my prediction, and needless to say, I'm never right, but my prediction is going to be Baltimore, July 7th, Great American Bash.
And my final comment, what is Sid Vicious doing with the NWA? He's a worse wrestler than Hogan. I don't think he needs to be a horseman.
Well, I think he obviously made that decision when he was injured. Many people thought he would come back on the right side of the aisle, so to speak, and he obviously made a business decision. The Horsemen are the most successful organization in the sport of professional wrestling, and obviously he feels as though being a member, being a small fish in a big sea, is probably more important than going out on his own.
What do you think of him as a wrestler?
He leaves something to be desired, and I one time on the radio I compared him to Lex Luger of 2 years ago. When Luger first came to the NWA, he certainly had the physique, but his wrestling ability was limited. I think Sid Vicious is certainly big and strong and has the ability of being a world champion someday, but he is certainly not the stature of a wrestler today. He can wrestle, but nothing like Lex Luger could, today. But give him a couple of years and let him be around the best there is, and I think Sid Vicious could ultimately be a world champion.
We'll see.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Take care.
All right, take care, and we'll be right back here on 610 WIP.
I'm Johnny Bench, back at Toyota's Big League Sales event. Before we join Joe Garagiola on the field for an interview, I got to tell you, the deals and factory-to-dealer incentives for this big league event are better than ever. Ready, Joe?
Ready, John. At our last event, Moose really drove one out of here. And now Moose's missus is back, and she saved even more on a Toyota.
Right, Joe. The Toyota dealer gave me his best stuff.
You mean the big savings on option packages?
Right. And don't forget the biggest factory-to-dealer incentives of the year, too.
Well, you sure got all of it.
It was easy, Joe. At Toyota's Big League event, every customer's got a lot of clout.
There you have it. Hurry to your Toyota dealer today for terrific deals and a great selection of Camrys, Corollas, Tercels, and trucks. Plus, see the exciting all-new Previa van. Toyota's Big League Sales event. It's a whole new ballgame.
Savings on options packages based on MSRP of individual options. Actual dealer prices may vary.
Only Central City Toyota will double factory incentives through June 2nd. Central City Toyota, between 48th and 49th on Chestnut Street.
All right, we're back here at 610 WIP, and while I have your attention, we've been talking about Squires Travel now for, I guess, 2 months, and a lot of you have responded, and I do thank you. The phone number is a very simple phone number to remember. Just dial GREAT at, GREATAT, because they're great at everything they do. Great at vacations, great at business travel. They've got a trip, the Orlando Fling. And when they called me this week and told me about it, I almost wanted to hop on the plane. 7 days, and obviously includes airfare, hotel, and use of a car. 7 days in Orlando for under $400. I wanted to hop on a plane and leave and forget about Rasslin Radio, forget about everything, and just go down. The Orlando Fling. If you're interested in anything, if you need business travel, I'm going up to Boston in a couple of weeks. You pick up the phone, speak to John over there. 2 minutes later, they issue the tickets, a done deal. Just tell them Squared Circle sent you. John will take care of you. The phone number, I actually have 2 numbers, 473-9090, and also dial GREAT at. It's GREATAT. They'll take care of you. And if you're interested in this Orlando Fling, I know a lot of you are getting ready for vacations. 7 days, hotel, air, and car for under $400. Again, the phone number is GREATAT. That's GREAT at, and 473-9090. Just ask for John. And also, Last Chance Tickets. They've been a sponsor for a long time, and Last Chance Tickets wants to take care of you. Fleetwood Mac tickets go on sale today, and they've got them. Paul McCartney tickets, Madonna tickets. Paul McCartney's coming July 14th and 15th. And if you're not going down to Tennessee with us, you ought to be at the Paul McCartney concert at the Vet, and they've got the best seats in the house. Also, tonight, Dwight Gooden against the Phillies. Phillies are in trouble, and you might want to go see Dwight Gooden. If you're not going down to Baltimore for the NWA card, or if you're not going up to Old Bridge, New Jersey for the WWA card, you ought to go to the Phillies game tonight and see Dwight Gooden. They've got the tickets. Also tickets, of course, for the Phillies tomorrow. The phone number is 609-488-9191. or 1-800-336-TIXX. Ask for Fancy Frank or Jazz and Jeff. Again, the phone number is 1-800-336-TIXX or 609-488-9191.
It's time
The Squared Circle is celebrating its 5th anniversary, and on Saturday night, June 9th, we will celebrate at Market Street Live, the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar, 8th and Market Street. We will celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Squared Circle, and the general public is invited. A hot dinner buffet and a lot of special guests. Our 5th anniversary. It's been 5 years for the Squared Circle, and we will celebrate Saturday, June 9th, starting at 5:30 p.m. at the Philadelphia Original Sports Bar, Market Street Live, 8th and Market Street, Center City, Philadelphia. Make your reservations now. The general public is welcome as the Squared Circle. You, the wrestling fans of the area, the Squared Circle celebrates the 5th anniversary. Be there. Saturday, July 7th, our video bus gets back in gear as we head south to Baltimore, Maryland for the Great American Bash NWA pay-per-view. Also included in our bus trip, a luncheon with the current NWA World Tag Team Champions, Doom with Teddy Long. That's right, lunch with Ron Simmons, Butch Reed, and Teddy Long, along with ringside seats to the Great American Bash pay-per-view July 7th in Baltimore, Maryland. For reservations, 745-8315 for the Great American Bash pay-per-view.
610 WIP.
The local stars of the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance have 2 appearances coming up in the next several weeks. On Saturday, June 16th, starting at 12 noon, we'll be appearing at Norristown Ford in Norristown, Pennsylvania. And on Thursday evening, June 21st, starting at 6:30 p.m., we'll be at Robin Ford in Glen Olden, Pennsylvania. That's the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance coming to Norristown Ford and Robin Ford this month. All right, we're back here at 610 WIP's Rasslin Radio. We go to East Falls, and Mike, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Hey, Joe, how you doing?
All right, how you doing?
Listen, I used to be a great fan of the Rock and Roll Express. Since they come back to the NWA, I see their careers going nowhere. Do you agree with me?
Well, I think now that the Midnight Express have the U.S. Tag Team titles, obviously the Rock and Roll Express, at some point they're going to go after those titles. Tonight, they're wrestling Doom in Baltimore. I don't know if they're going to be able to compete against Doom, but I think on the Clash, when they go up against the Midnight Express, look, that feud goes back many, many moons, and I've said on the air many times, I could just watch that match over and over again. If the Rock and Roll Express get into a serious feud with the Midnight Express, I think you'll see the Rock and Roll career take off again.
I hope so. I want to make an agreement with a caller earlier. He was talking about Howard Stern.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a pretty good wrestler. He's 6'5", you know.
But he's a weasel. Talk to you later. Northeast Philly and Lewis, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Sure.
I got to start worrying about Howard Stern being a wrestler.
Sure.
Boy, oh boy. What's going on?
How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing fine.
All right. Are you going to take the show next week like you did Spring Spectacular?
Yeah, but we're not going to have it for sale.
Are you not? Why?
Well, if you want to see this show, you got to be there live.
Oh, all right. Another thing, are you going to run a bus trip the next day to Newark, Delaware?
No, we're going to talk about that in a minute.
Oh, how would I get there?
Well, you're going to hear about that in a second as well.
Okay.
All right, we thank you for calling.
Bye, Joe.
All right, take care, Lewis. All right, while we got you on the phone, while we go, that's Tom Brandi, huh? All right, there's 2 other matches on Summer Sizzler. The first, Chippendale Tom Brandi and King Kalua will be going up against the American Pitbulls. Also, Boy Gone Bad against Patty O'Brien, and he's not on the line. Oh, okay. Way to go, Paul. Well, all right, I'll tell you what, how about if I take a call? Go get him back. All right, we go to Burlington, and Bill, you're on Rasslin Radio.
Yeah, Joe, how's it going?
All right, how you doing?
All right. I don't know how disappointed you were with the big surprise last weekend. With that Junkyard Dog going against Flair, especially with all the new talent. I was wondering how come they're maybe giving a run around to Stan Hansen.
I haven't. Look, I don't understand this Junkyard Dog thing. That's bottom line. I don't understand it. Stan Hansen comes in, he doesn't get a title shot. Orndorff comes in, he doesn't get a title. I don't understand it. That's simple as pie. I just flat out don't understand it.
Are they giving Hansen any shots against Luger?
Well, right now Luger's in the hospital, so obviously the answer to that is no.
Right.
I think Luger's major challenge is going to come from Barry Windham.
Big Van Vader, is he still scheduled or?
Yeah, he's scheduled. In fact, you'll see him on TBS. Is there a show on TBS tonight? I don't think so because the Atlanta Braves are playing baseball. But the next show, I think you'll see a tape of Big Van Vader, and yes, he'll be coming in.
Okay. And as far as with Hansen, are they keeping him, or is he just do a Mills Mascaris type deal? Or?
Nah, he's coming. Emil Mascaris only signed for 1 week. Hansen signed for a longer term.
Okay.
All right. We thank you for calling.
Okay.
All right. Take care. We have Tom Brandi back. All right. With us now, Chippendale. Tom Brandi, how you doing?
Joe, Let's cut the small talk. I want to know why the main event hasn't had more talk. You know what I mean? Myself and the Hawaiian Hurricane back together again against these pit bulls.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm excited about seeing you back in the ring. Look, most people know that we've known each other for a number of years now, and when you suffered that injury to your knee, I think that the local sport lost something, and fortunately or unfortunately, as the case might be, depending upon what side of the aisle you're on, Tom Brandi will make his return appearance to the wrestling ring right here at Temple's McGonigal Hall next Saturday, June 9, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the ring.
I want to know one thing. Yeah, as you know, I've been out of this sport 7 long months. Therapy, operations, rehabilitation, everything. I want to know how come the Philadelphia faithful didn't send me any cards, letters, gifts, money, presents, anything. That's what I want to know, Joe. I'm a little upset right now.
Well, I haven't the foggiest idea why they did, and maybe they didn't care.
Well, I'll tell you what. That's just exactly how I feel. I don't care anymore because I've been a nice guy, I think, a little too long now. And, you know, it just shows where it got me. Maybe I have to have a little change of heart here with my partner. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that's a decision you have to make. I think the fans like good wrestling, and you and Kalua had become ICW tag team champions up in the main area, so you've established a certain level of success. The Pitbulls are one of these up-and-coming new young tag teams that are currently wrestling all over the world, and again, I've always been one that highlights the undercard on these matches, and I'm not really sure that you guys represent an undercard.
Well, let's get down to it. The Pitbulls, okay, they're midget wrestlers. I am highly insulted being matched against them. I mean, you have Lawler on the card, you have all these other guys.
Hey, Tom, you didn't have to sign the contract.
Hey, I signed it out of pity for these guys.
Well, maybe you ought to call them the Pity Bulls.
Hey, you just said it, baby. I got to agree with that.
Hey,
they're lucky to be getting in the ring with me. I'm 75% right now, and they'll be lucky if they ever see 75%.
Well, my conversations with their manager, Larry Sharp, this past week, they know you're 75%, and they're looking to make you 0%.
Who's their manager?
Larry Sharp.
Who? Who's Larry Sharp?
You'll find out next Saturday.
Is that the guy that gets beat up every week on TV in the WWF taping?
No, that's Mike Sharp.
Oh, no, I'm flashing back about for the last 10 years, I guess.
Oh, okay.
That's all right. Maybe he's better off as a manager. We'll put him away that day, too. The Hawaiian Hurricane and myself, we're a fine-tuned machine any day of the week.
All right, we're looking forward to seeing you at Temple's McGonigal Hall next Saturday, June 9, 1 p.m. And Tom, thank you for calling in.
Joel, do me one favor.
Yeah.
Don't announce me from Philadelphia no longer.
Where you from?
Parts unknown.
You got it.
Thank you.
Parts unknown. All right. What I do want to do for the next couple of minutes is just make a comment or two. I'm going to pull a Bill Campbell here, although I don't have any written notes. A lot of people have told me over the past couple of years getting into promotion is dangerous. You can lose a lot of money. Unless there's a lot of support out there, things just won't go right, et cetera, et cetera. And I've kind of gone against the odds, mainly because of you, the listening audience here at 610 WIP. I had to do something last night that I really have never done before, did not want to do, but had to do it. And a lot has to do with the fans out there. We canceled Summer Sizzler Part 2 in Newark, Delaware. And I am convinced, although I don't believe so, I think the fact that it's the summer, people start having other ideas in their minds. Ticket sales were slow, and the people who were going to run the show down in Newark, Delaware, felt that it wasn't worth the risk of having a big walk-up next Sunday. Now, the advance for Temple's McGonigal Hall is certainly far and ahead of where Newark, Delaware was, but it's nowhere near what Spring Spectacular was. And we're going to run Summer Sizzler Part 1 here at Temple's McGonigal Hall one way or the other. But I look at it this way. I've said on the air many times that the only reason a crowd does not show up is because you're not giving them what they want. It has nothing to do with location, has nothing to do with temperature, has nothing to do with weather, has nothing to do with wrestlers. If you're giving the fans what they want, they will be there to support you. I firmly believe, as a promoter, that at Summer Sizzler 90, I've got Tully Blanchard, Paul Orndorff, Jerry Lawler, Austin Idol, Nikita Koloff, Manny Fernandez, Paul Orndorff, Bob Orton, Tom Pritchard, Cheetah Kid, Drake, Hot Body, Seeing Red, Rebel, Stetson, Larry Winters, Brandi, Kalua, Boy Gone Bad, Patty O'Brien. I've got the best collection of wrestlers this city has ever seen on one card ever. And I'm depending upon you, the fans, to let me know if you want me to continue to do the promotions. Flat out, simple. If you don't come out to Temple next Saturday, then I'm getting out of the promotion business. So if you don't want me in promotions, don't come to Temple. On the other hand, if you like what we're doing and you're supportive of what the Tri-State Wrestling Alliance is trying to accomplish, and that is to bring wrestling back to the people, then you best be there next Saturday, June 9 in McGonigal Hall. Bottom line is, I'm making a decision on promotions next Saturday, and hopefully you'll be there to support me. You're listening to 610 WIP. We'll be back next week.
Just after 6 o'clock Monday morning, out of bed early and talking sports on the amazing